New reports show that the U.S. National Security Agency, or the NSA, spied on French businesses for over a decade. The Transparency WikiLeaks website reveals that the NSA eavesdropped on 2 French finance ministers and 3 other senior officials between 2004 and 2012. WikiLeaks also said that the agency eavesdropped on all French export bids worth over $200 million from 2002 to 2012. The targets ranged from oil and gas to telecommunications. Neither the U.S. nor France has reacted to the reports. Last week, the website revealed that the NSA had spied on the last 3 French presidents as well. This prompted the French government to summon the U.S. ambassador for an explanation. Joining us from Orlando via Skype is former American intelligence linguist Scott Rickard. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV, Mr. Rickard. Now, looking at all these revelations and the ones we've seen in the past, I guess one has to ask the question, who hasn't the U.S. spied on?
That's a great question. Unfortunately, the U.S. has been spying on other nations since the beginning of, I'd say, probably World War I and World War II. Except the intelligence resources weren't quite as big then. Obviously, the United States has become a huge resource for the Five Eyes partners. That'd be New Zealand, Australia, Canada, England, and the United States. But at the same time, French intelligence and French operatives rely heavily on American intelligence as well. A lot of this intelligence actually started with large corporations like AIG, the American Insurance Group, that provided quite a bit of intelligence before, during, and after World War II. So you look at these relationships that the French and the Americans and the British and their other Five Eyes partners have. They work quite closely together. And in fact, even in my town here, there is a small company called ISO Group that basically provides logistics to militaries around the world as a form of intelligence advantages. And they are it's a combination of French, Israeli, American intelligence operation, but basically providing third world nations with equipment. In fact, they were providing Gaddafi equipment prior to the NATO attack on Libya. So the fact that Americans are spying on French and other countries' economic and even intelligence operations, there's no huge surprises there. There's nothing new. This is something that the Americans are probably the best at in the world. They've been doing it for quite some time, and they're heavily funded to do so.
Right now, Mr. Rickard, it was hoped that in light of these revelations, there would be more oversight and regulation of the way people's communications data is handled and used somewhere on a more global platform like the UN. Why do you think that didn't happen?
Well, it's certainly not going to happen, and even in France, they're talking about expanding surveillance against the French citizens. Unfortunately, the individuals that are masquerading as our governments are really these corporations, and these individuals that are really dictating who we have to vote for are the ones that are making the profits off of this, and certainly they're the ones dictating the policies of those nations that are participating in these criminal activities against not only their citizens, but citizens of the world. And the UN has unfortunately become nothing but a puppet show for the individuals who finance and control the individuals that are, acting as our representatives there.
Okay, let's leave it there for now. That's Scott Rickard, former American intelligence linguist, joining us via Skype from Orlando. Mr. Rickard, thank you very much indeed for your comments here on Press TV.